Hi, and welcome everyone to another episode of Gaming with Jason. And this is day 3 of my playthrough. As you see, I've got some tanks up here, and I am looking around to see what it is that I can do. Now, as far as a playthrough, I've told you guys that this is my first time ever doing a playthrough. I, I like to. This is how I usually run my morning routine, and this is kind of throwing me off my morning routine. As usually, I'll wake up about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I will take. I'll go sit out in my car. I'll have my morning cigarette, and then Uh, I will sit there on my phone, and I will usually either, at least at the bare minimum, I like to get my research. So I already started my research a couple hours ago, because usually it takes about 2 hours for me to wake up and actually get ready to actually start doing some filming. And I haven't even really gotten anything done other than my basics. So I'm trying to get this done early today. With that being said, I looked around at the map, and it looks like that Chad has been kicked out. And so I'm debating, and I'm actually going to send something over to help with Chad. I think once Angola is done, I'm going to offer to split Chad with him, and I'm going to take I want to take like the top 3 cities, and he can have the bottom 3 cities. I'm going to see if he wants to split that with me, and I'll follow up with you. So I'm going to do one at the beginning of my day. Now, my morning stuff that I get done, I will just show you what I've done. That way you can kind of follow along with how I do my build structure. Okay. And then we can go from there. And so looks like I got another helicopter here. Um, oh, and last night before I went to bed, I built an airbase up here because I was looking to actually, let me just send that over here right now, because I'm already starting to get my airbase network set up. Oops, I want to split that and send them up here. So now I have a full wing of attack helicopters. So now I could send this division in with with 4 infantry and 1 tank and a fleet of helicopters, and I could take pretty much anybody on. The next thing I need to start working on is getting my air wing up, and so that is what I'm going to work on right now. So I have my 2 level 1s. Let me get my air wing because I want to be able to protect my soldiers. And I've been doing a lot of rethinking about how I want to do my airborne strategy, because I really, really want to do this airborne strategy. I want to figure out how it works. But I think that it works more in a secondary role instead of a primary role. And so that's important. Okay, let's see. I've got a couple of I'm trying to get my tanks up to something that is reasonable, so that I have a decent. Okay, so I'm out of that. So I have to go to there. So I'm only getting um so many of these tanks and stuff just because of electronics. And so now I have to go out on a hunt for electronics. So let's see here. Actually, let's look in my electronic city. Now I built that up to a level 2 last night before I went to bed, and I'm going to build it up to a level 3 because I need as much electronics as possible. Now, see, that's the thing. And I think that if you're going to do this strategy, Spain is probably the proper place to do it. And maybe doing it as Spain, you should be willing to just sit a little and figure out like where you can go and attack, and not just because I've taken over since day 1. I've taken over 2 NPCs and Kenya, so I've taken over a country, and at this point in time, it's time to ooh ooh. All right. Um, so it looks like Libya is getting a little jumpy, and so I can jump in. I'm going to send in right now. I'm going to send them on an attack to Egypt. Wait, how long is it going to take? Take 4 hours, 2 minutes. So I need to make sure that that shows up. Now, this is how you coordinate attack. So 4 hours, 13, 4 hours, 2. That's actually perfect timing because I want this to hit before this hits. Because if this hits, he's probably going to lose if there's anything decent in there. But now me and Libya are going to be looking at a fight. So I need to move this tank up over here. And I'm actually using tank destroyers. So do I feel confident? See, that's the thing. I don't feel confident leaving my coastline unattended. Um, you know what? I'm gonna move this up here. I've got 2 of these tanks, and I'm gonna start building another set of units here. Okay, so, but the thing is look, I have a defensive issue. And let's see, that one is done. So I'm gonna move this over here so that I can shore that up. That's going there. Let's see him over here as well. And let's send him. I'm not worried about that because I've got Angola. So let's send him up over here. Okay. And so at the bare minimum, I am protecting my coastline. I have done I have gone through and I've done my builds. I've got my technology going. I'm really debating on whether I want to do helicopters or not. I know that I'm going to have to really work on my air wing. I'm not going to do recon vehicles on this server. I have made that decision. Um, Part of me is still deciding. So here's generally what happens when it comes to nukes, and I'm going to do a separate video today just on nukes. So that video will come out before this video. Okay, and so hopefully if I get it all set up right, I'll put a link in the description or put a title tag up for you guys. But here's the thing: when it comes to getting nuked, I get nuked probably 30% of the time. At one point or another within a game. Sometimes I get nuked 2 or 3 times, and it really irritates me. On another server, I've got nuked. When I get nuked, I pretty much it's not that I quit. Um, it's just that I kind of put that server on the back burner, realize that I'm crippled, and I just kind of try and limp across the finish line because that's all you can do once you've been nuked. Because I mean, I didn't have all my troops there, but it killed my production. And the most important thing, and I think that the only benefit of nukes is that it kills a person's production so that if they outnumber you, you can outbuild them, catch up to them, and then overrun them. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will win, but and because the thing is I can clean it up, and because I have such high level buildings, all I have to do is put a level 1 barracks back in there, and I can get back up and running real quick. Okay, so I'm debating on whether I want to do artillery. So in that game, I did the mobile artillery, but mobile artillery does not do anything against nukes. Okay, and that really bugs me. Um, so I'm thinking about the SAMs, but I'm not getting the Russian benefit. See, the Russians are better at missile defense than the Americans are. I mean, at least we're finding that out in the news today, is that America doesn't have nearly as good a missile capabilities. So you would think that they would give this to you in the Eastern Doctrine, but apparently not. But the thing is if I get this up here, I can do 3 per. And if I get it up here, so you have to max this out really quick, and you have to get a level 3 base real quick to be able to get 5.5. And if you put 5 of these in every one of your cities and they send a nuke, there's no way that an ICBM can make it into a city. It's not possible. Okay, so it's the only way to defend. But do you realize, like, if you spend all your time on that because you get no defense, no attack, you cannot take out helicopters. So if you waste your resources on that, you better be expecting to get nuked. So, all right, that is it for the morning play. I'll see you guys later. Okay, so now I am back here and I am getting ready to do some more attacks. So now I have two fronts going and I'm about to open up a third front. Oh wow, that one finally got there. And part of the reason why I'm opening up a third front, and let me kind of give you a little bit of an idea here. So Chad is inactive, so I can just kind of play around. I can send one division in his direction. I think that the Egypt has quit, especially considering I'm taking three of his homeland cities, and it looks like Iraq is trying to get over here too. So I'm going to have to push Iraq and Saudi Arabia out of Africa, um, and that may prevent me from going over here. So when you start looking at, okay, where do I want to attack? Um, how many fronts do I want to open? Do I have the ability to run those fronts? So right now a um I have gunship wing, and I have a full gunship wing who's barely had anything happen to it. And it's got about 7 minutes, so that'll be about 2 minutes until it actually gets there and lands. And so we're going to keep an eye on that. What I have done is I'm splitting my troops to go up here. And I must have lost a lot of troops here, and I didn't have my gunships going at it, and that was my mistake. You need to make sure that when you start an attack, that you get all of your units in. But at this point, I want to make sure that I kick Iraq out, and I'm probably gonna have to. I don't know how Iraq got in here though. Is he friends? Is Okay, there's Syria. Where Let's go look at this, and this is the best part about it. Okay, so how is he getting over here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Because he would have had to go out the waterway, but he would have had to go through what coalition is this guy in? And so, before you even do any attack, you should also look at you should man, I hate it when this game does this. Before you do an attack, you should always look at your surrounding players and decide whether or not you want to attack them or not. And you are in complete control. Don't open up too many fronts, because if you open up too many fronts, then what's going to happen is so there's apparently nothing there. He must have sent everything down here. That must have been why I had an issue. But you want to you are in control of who you attack. Now, when it comes to defending, you're not in control of that. But as far as who you pick a war with, and picking a war, it's about what is the safer option. Just like what we do in our elections, we pick the lesser of two evils. We still have to pick someone. We still have to fight. We still have to pick a war. But we're trying to pick the lesser of two evils. And to be able to have the lesser of these two evils will show that you're gonna it's gonna help you make wiser. Mm, that's another thing I hate about this. Okay, so this was going here, and part of the reason why you see this running so slow is actually because what I like to do throughout the day is, so I do video editing and I do production and the script writing. I do the whole process for more than just this channel. I also have kitchen table news, which I'll put a link down in the description, and I also am about to start a paleo baking channel for my stepmom on top of this channel. So I spend a lot of my day editing, and when my videos are in the render process, or when I have a time to where I have to wait for the software to catch up, then I come over here and do this. But then, it kind of slows down my browser, but that's because I'm working in Adobe Premiere Pro. And I also dedicate all of my resources to my Premiere Pro as well, which is why it slows this down. But this is kind of how I get to play the game. Now everybody's going to play differently. You're going to play differently. You go to a 9 to 5 job where you have to go to a location. You're going to want to check in on your lunch break. You're going to want to check in before you start. You're going to want to check in after you get off work. You check in those 3 times a day, 15, 20 minutes. Boom, you're good. And you can do this while eating. I love to do this while sitting in my car and relaxing and unwinding. So I will see you guys in the next segment here. So I had a few minutes to check in, and I wanted to kind of update you guys on what's going on my map so you guys can kind of understand how my decisions work. Okay, so um, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Iraq, they're all in, and I think, hold on, let me go look. These guys right here. Oh, so Iraq is their leader. So Turkey, Afghanistan. Okay, so these guys are all plotting against me to begin with, and um, I talk. Remember, if you remember from day one um, when I had Afghanistan show up here on my front door. Well, him and I made a deal that in a little while that him and I would have. Uh, would have a fight. It looks like he's trying to not play by any code of conduct or have any honor and integrity amongst them. Because why would you send your guys over? I told him that I was going to go after Saudi, not realizing that Saudi was his guy. So that means now I'm going to have to go after Iraq and Saudi, and I'm probably going to end up destroying his whole coalition, and he's going to have to make a choice. Does he want to come in and fight me, or is he trying to use these guys to weaken me? This is kind of the same thing that we see going on, like in the Russia Ukraine thing. Is that with every war that you get into, it spreads you out. It thins you out. So my borders were just this tiny little area. Now my borders are getting wider. I have made a deal um, with Libya, and so we're going to see some things change here, and you're going to see the map go drastically. But we're coming up on the switch of day. Just to show you, by day 10, I am already up at number 2, and I am nipping on Afghanistan's heels. And that's just it's something. It's a personal pride thing for me, just to be able to show that I can still do it. Um, every once in a while you'll get a time where in the game you'll have like a bunch of wins, and then you'll have a bunch of losses right in a row. And the thing is you're playing the law of averages. You're only going to win about 20% of your game. And because you only win about 20% of your games, um, that means you're going to lose 80%. And sometimes you lose so many in a row that it just becomes really, really frustrating. And so, and what I'm doing here is I am making sure that my coastlines are safe. And also, since I got safety from him, I'm going to go up over here, and I'm going to reinforce this because I want to make sure that he can't get in to these cities. And that one's going over there too. So I am protecting my coastal cities, so that when I go to sleep, if somebody wants to come in, they're going to at least have a fight on them, or it's going to take them a long time. And by the time I wake up, I can actually respond. And I have a full wing now of not only gunships, but I also have a full wing um, a full wing of the fighter wings. And so I'm going to sit here. I'm going to build for a minute. I've got a few that I can do here. Let's see here. I want to do another. I want to be able to have 2 of these wings to be able to. Oh man, I don't have it. Do I have enough? I don't have enough for that either. Okay, so it looks like I'm just going to have to go this route. I have been doing a lot of building, and let's see here. I have 42 units. So, and I've been fighting a lot. So I've taken over 2 countries, and with these 2 countries, I have taken over. Um, Here, let me send with one there. With these 2 countries that I've taken over, I should have enough resources to um, uh, to really uh, hold my own and not have to expand for a couple of days, so that I can sit back and I can build up my military and get ready for the big fight that's coming with Afghanistan, because I don't know when it's coming. He says he'll give me warning, but the way that things are going with Iraq, as soon as I go in and go after as soon as I go in and go after Saudi Arabia and I go after Iraq because they're encroaching on my territory, I expect him to interfere. So before that happens, I need to get my naval patrol up. And right now I am resource poor. So I need to start upgrading some of my. Let's see. I've already done the. Haven't I? Yeah, I've done the electronics. It's to 3. And I need more components, so I'm going to move that up. Oh, I'm about 25 short. Let's see if I can go to the market. The market is your best friend for resources when you need them. So, there we go. Let's just take that. And then we got an arms industry. And with that, we're done for the night.